At the Avengers hideout in the Bronx, the entire team, Clint, Carol Danvers, Spider-Man, Jessica Drew, Bucky Barnes, Luke Cage, Wolverine, Mockingbird, Jessica Jones, are all gathered in one room. The team sits around a cluttered table full of takeout, casually eating while trying to run a proper meeting. Clint takes charge, explaining they're doing things old-school Avengers style, gathering everyone to discuss the day's matters. He brings up the need for a team leader and a second in command. "Luke, you've been our team leader." Luke responds by saying, "I have." Luke himself didn't know that. When asked if he wants the role, Luke immediately declines. Clint opens the question to the group, but no one steps up. Spider-Man breaks the silence by asking, "Is there more money in it?" And once Clint says no, Spidey instantly loses interest, leaving the team stuck with no volunteers. The discussion continues as Spider-Man suggests Bucky as a leader because of his military experience, but Bucky quickly points out that he doesn't have the Avengers experience. Jessica brings up Carol as another option with similar credentials. But Carol immediately declines, saying she has too much going on right now and isn't interested. Luke asks, "You sure?" Carol replies, "Maybe another time." Luke then turns to Clint and asks if he wants the role, and Clint reluctantly agrees to step up if no one else will. Luke settles it right there, telling him to take it since he's the one with the old-school Avengers handbook apparently. Clint checks if anyone has a problem with him leading. "Speak now. You won't hurt my feelings." Trying to act confident even though Mockingbird points out his feelings would definitely get hurt. Clint responds, "Hey, I can take it. Come on, who doesn't love me?" No one objects, and Carol officially backs him, so Clint accepts the role and names her second in command. Double-checking what she means by fine when she agrees. With leadership decided, Clint moves on to his first real issue and turns directly to Spider-Man. "Okay, so my first order of business, and this might be a little awkward." Spider-Man jokes, "Ooh, I love awkward." Clint continues, "Well, then, good, because this is about you." Spider-Man, confused, asks, "Me?" Clint starts by laying out the situation clearly. After everything with the scrolls and the whole who can you trust problem, the fact that no one knows who Spider-Man really is has become an issue. Everyone else on the team has taken their masks off, but Spider-Man is still fully covered. Spider-Man immediately reacts, clearly uncomfortable, while Wolverine steps in and says he can smell that it's really him. Clint dismisses that. "No offense, Logan. You're only here half the time and you couldn't sniff out a scroll." Wolverine backs off, telling Spider-Man he's on his own. Clint continues, explaining that having someone on the team whose identity is completely hidden isn't a safe move for everyone else, especially with a baby in the room. Spider-Man then directly asks if that means he doesn't take his mask off, he's out, and Clint confirms it. Luke tries to ease the tension by telling him it's no big deal and to just take it off and free himself. But Peter hesitates and explains that it's not about trusting the people in the room, it's about the people in his life outside of it. He brings up Norman Osborn, now the king of the world, and says that makes revealing his identity a real personal risk because of their history. Spider-Man admits that he always knew this day would come and that he had already decided that if it did, he would walk away. But now that he's actually here, he realizes he doesn't want to leave. "I like being an Avenger. I love being an Avenger." Cap was right. It gave me that something else I needed. But I can't do this thing you need me to do. Carol then asks if that means he's leaving, and Peter, gripping his mask and clearly struggling, ends by saying, "I hate this," showing how torn he is between his responsibilities and his personal life. Spider-Man finally makes the decision and removes the mask, revealing himself. "My name is Peter Parker. The world hates a coward." Jessica suddenly reacts in shock, shouting in recognition and rushing toward him. She hugs him tightly, excited and overwhelmed, saying she knew he sounded familiar all along. Peter, however, is completely confused and asks if they know each other. Jessica reminds him that they went to high school together. But Peter still doesn't recognize her at first and asks if they really did. She introduces herself and mentions they had science class together. but even then Peter struggles to remember. Then she drops the bigger revelation, that she had a huge crush on him back then, which surprises both Peter and Luke. Peter reacts with confusion and disbelief, asking if that's really true, not remembering any of it at all, while Luke is equally shocked hearing this for the first time. Jessica continues by explaining what happened to her back in the day. Her family got into a car accident and she ended up in a coma. That finally triggers Peter's memory, and he blurts out, "Oh, coma girl! Oh my god, how have you been?" Jessica reacts with disbelief and irritation at the nickname, especially when Peter admits he never knew her real name and that's just what he called her. She asks if everyone in high school called her that. Peter tries to soften it, implying maybe not everyone did. Meanwhile, Luke is still stuck on the earlier reveal, questioning how she could have had a crush on Peter. And Jessica brushes it off as something from a long time ago. "Peter, seriously, you don't even remember that I was totally in love with you." That shocks Luke even more. Peter, now overwhelmed, tries to piece it together, asking when this even happened and how he never noticed. Jessica explains it was throughout most of 9th grade and all of 10th grade. Peter asks if she ever told him directly, and she replies that she didn't. Not in words, making it clear that while her feelings were real, they went completely unnoticed by him. Luke stands up saying, "Love or crush, what is it? Because they're completely two different things." Jessica, now clearly hurt, confronts Peter about not even knowing her name, and he tries to defend himself by explaining that back then he had no powers. He was just a socially clueless kid, spending his time at home with test tubes and beakers while eating giant piles of flapjacks, which only confuses the others for a moment. He then tries to recover by saying that if he had known, he would have gone out with her. But Jessica immediately throws his own words back at him by repeating the nickname Coma Girl, making it clear how insulting that sounded. Peter just says that he didn't know, with nothing else left to say. He can only watch as she quietly walks away from the room, sad and disappointed. He mutters again that he didn't know, but it's too late. Meanwhile, Wolverine comments that he enjoyed the meeting. Peter then quickly turns serious again and tells everyone that his identity must stay secret, emphasizing that his family and friends could be in danger if it gets out. "You're the only people in the world who know this." Carol then asks about his connection to Norman Osborn, and Peter reveals that Osborn is his best friend's father. Clint immediately sees the strategic angle and points out that means Peter has a way to get close to him. But Peter insists it's far more complicated than that. Clint presses him to explain, but before he can answer, a loud crash interrupts them. Everyone reacts immediately, running outside in a hurry, and just like that, the meeting came to a sudden halt. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel.